Welcome to your $1,000,000 Body Show. My name is Folashade and I'm the in-house dietitian with Excel Region. Today, Dr. Dolly will be joining us on the show, but then I will be your host, and so be rest assured that we're going to have a great time today, again, just like we did yesterday. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. We're streaming live from our video in our office in Victoria Island, Lagos. Yesterday, we discussed so much about foods for protecting the body and the mind. We said so much about it. If you did not join us yesterday, I'm glad that you're here joining us today. There's still so much that we have to share with you. Yesterday, we discussed about the foods protecting the body and the mind. We discussed about the food protecting the body and the mind. I shared about how foods can either be a blessing in the sense that it gets to protect and boost your health. I also shared about how food can go on to harm you, to damage your health and cause chronic conditions such as obesity, diabetes, hypertension, cancer, and so many of these other serious health conditions. And not only that, I went ahead to mention how this food can even go have negative effect on your brain, on your mind, how it can also lead to loss of memory. Yes, food can do that. And so when we talk about foods, foods are powerful. We need to be very, very careful on how we, get to use our food, what we do with our food, the things we consume, because it all have, all this have effect on our health. And I remember that myself and Mr. Marvel, the manager of Healthy Living Show, we really emphasized that every time you eat or drink, you are either feeding a disease or you are fighting it. Yes, you're either feeding a disease or you're fighting it. And so if you reflect on this, it's a popular nutrition quote. Every time you eat, you're either feeding a disease or you are fighting it. And so ask yourself, the things that you eat, are you helping yourself to fight diseases, or you are, you are helping yourself to to invite more serious health conditions? So this is something we really need to reflect on. And the show even got more interesting as I went ahead to show images of how unhealthy fats can get to affect your health. Unhealthy fat can get to block your arteries, and even how your body is able to make use of glucose, and then this can lead to insulin resistance and also diabetes, high blood sugar levels. And so I remember that I even shared a very interesting menu, a sample menu, where basically all the foods that we had on the menu were plant-based. I shared it and how you can get to still, use this, trying to avoid foods that are in saturated fat, foods that can go ahead to block your arteries, food that can lead to insulin resistance, food that can lead to high blood pressure, how you can get them out of your diet and, still, simple, with just simple foods, you can get to boost your health. And so today, we really are going to also share with you how you can get to use food to protect your mind. Yesterday, I emphasized more on how, the food affects your body. But today, I'll be going deeper into how the food can affect your mind. Yes, your mind. And then, many times we just feel that it's only about our body, it's only about our health, but we need to also understand that the foods we eat can really impact your mind, can affect your brain, the way you're able to learn, the way you're able to think, the way you're able to remember. Yes. So sometimes when you forget, it may not totally be it may be due to some of the unhealthy foods that you're eating. And this, and several studies have shown that what we eat really affects the way we think. And so if you missed yesterday's show, please go ahead to check on our YouTube page, Healthy Living Shows. You can also show some love by sharing the link with your friends, family, and colleagues. Do not be the only one enjoying all this information. And before I go on, I really want to thank and share with you about our sponsors, Salad Master. They are really leading the movement back to healthy cooking. They are inspiring people to eat better, to cook better, and to also live, the healthy life they desire. And so Salad Master is doing this much, and without them, we can't bring this show to you. And so now we go deeply into today's topic. Like I mentioned, I will be focusing more on how foods can get to improve to protect your mind and also your body. So, but then, like I said, Salad Master is our sponsor, and let's quickly take a message from them. All right, welcome back to your $1 billion body show. Welcome back. And today, like I mentioned before we went on the break, we are discussing foods for protecting your body and mind, with a special focus today on the foods that are, really protecting your mind. I'll be sharing how food can get to affect your mind. Many people do not know or do not understand that food has a great role to play in how we look, how we feel, and even how we behave. Yes, how we behave. It's not just about the physical, it goes for that to affect food, goes for that to affect our mental health. And so when you think about food, think about it in the aspect that it can affect your overall health, it can affect how you feel, it can affect how you interact with people. Yes, it can do so much, and that is what I'll be sharing with you today. And so, of course, by now you will be seeing the slides that I will be sharing with you to help you understand more of this information that I'm about to share with you. And so, right on your slide, you can right on your screen there, you can see the foods that are helping to, you can see the starting slide showing the food. And right now you're seeing the slide that talks about I just like this quote, and I had to put it in my slide today, that every time you eat, you are either feeding a disease or fighting it. I really want you to reflect on what that sentence really says, and I want you to answer the question by yourself. Are you feeding a disease, or you are fighting it? I really want you to answer that question. Also, as I move on, if you have questions, if you need clarification as I go on to share with you more nutrition information about how you can use food to protect your body and mind, kindly drop in the comment box. We would surely see and then answer those questions. Yes. And so next on your screen now, you're going to see how food can get to affect your mind. Yes, how food can get to affect your mind. And so if you look at that slide, you're saying so much. And I will just go ahead to share with you that your brain, when we talk about the mind, it has a way, like the brain, it has to do with the brain, your mind, all are interconnected. And so your brain controls everything in your body, the way you're able to, most of the things in your body, the way you are able to walk, the way, your senses, how you're able to see, your eating, all these are things that your brain is in charge. Different part of your brains actually are in charge of your movement. Another one controls all your senses, your organ, your thought also, how you're able to think, I already mentioned movement, the way you're breathing, your heartbeat. Your brain does so much. Your brain doesn't relax, like it cannot go, say, let me go on a break for a period of time. No, your brain cannot do that because it has so much function to do. And then what it means is that it requires a lot of fuel. Yes. And so the fuel that, the fuel that powers the brain comes from the food that you eat. And so if you eat unhealthy meals, what it means is that the quality of the fuel that goes to the brain would affect your brain, right? And so if you also go ahead to eat a healthy diet, what it means is that the quality of the food you eat would also, determine the quality of the fuel that goes to your brain. And so a simple analogy is that you just, imagine you're getting a new car, you wouldn't just go to any filling station or just buy any, branch into any road market, so to say, and then get any fuel to put in that new car. And so if you can't do that to a new car, what happens to your body? Your body is the only place you have. It's the only one you have. You cannot say, I'm tired of this body. I want to, put it aside. So what it means is that you need to do more to ensure that what goes into it would really help to improve it. And so what it means is that what you eat goes a long way to affect the function of your brain and also the function of, and also the structure of your brain. And so you may say, oh, at this stage, what would that mean? As we move on, I would share with you how this can get to affect your health. So when you consume foods that are, very high, healthy meals that are very high in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, yes, antioxidants, this vitamins, minerals, antioxidants go ahead to help you protect your brain. They go ahead so that we have something that is called the oxidative stress. This is when your body makes use of oxygen, and then so the like the end product of that usage, produces what we call free radicals. Free radicals are like waste, and they are harmful to your health. They can damage your cells, they can damage your brain cell, your body cells, your brain tissue. They can cause so much harm. And then research has shown that if you have more of this, free radical in your body, it can even increase your risk of having cancer. Yes. And so your diet can also help you ensure that these free radicals, these harmful substances, are taken out of your body. And so that is the function of, one of the major functions of antioxidants. What it does is that it attaches itself to the free radical and then helps you to take it out of your body. So if your meals are devoid, you don't have so much antioxidant, you don't have the vitamins, there are certain vitamins that also have great antioxidant, power. And if your meals are devoid of these, great and powerful substances, what it means is that your brain is exposed to the harm that can be caused. And so next on the slide, I still, go ahead to show you how this can also, the foods you eat can also still affect, if you continue to consume unhealthy foods that are very high in saturated fats, they are high in trans fats, they are high in refined sugar, you're so much of these unhealthy foods that are out there. If you eat that, it would affect the way your body is able to use, the nutrients that you have in the food. And so it affects the way you are able to supply, your body is able to supply fuel to your brain. I mentioned yesterday, in case, just to recall that at your brain, it's the major fuel is glucose, which is the blood sugar. And so if your body is not able to utilize your blood sugar very well due to excess fat, which I showed that can block how your body is able to utilize insulin very well. And when this happens, what it means is that your brain is not also able to get adequate amounts, of supply of glucose to power it. And I just said earlier, some minutes ago, how your brain does so much, and so it needs constant supply of energy, yes, of fuel. And so if your meals are very high in fats, they are very high in trans fats, saturated fat, refined sugar, all this diet can increase or promote inflammation in your body. It can also go ahead to cause mood disorder, yes, mood disorder, and even impaired brain function, yes. This can go ahead to cause impaired brain function. And it's very interesting to know that several studies have they've been able to link and affirm that diet that is very high in saturated fat, in refined sugar, can affect the way you are able to use your brain, can affect the brain function. And so like I mentioned earlier, it's interesting to know that what you eat doesn't only affect how you look, before we say you are what you eat, right? But now I'm also sharing this with you, that you are not only what you eat, how you behave, how you think, right, is also also determined by the foods that you consume. And so next thing that I will share with you is that I really want you to be cautious, and I've gone ahead to just mention that cutting down foods that are very rich in fat, in refined sugar, saturated fat, trans fat, will greatly reduce your risk of having some of the side effects of unhealthy diet. It can greatly reduce your risk of memory loss. It can greatly help you improve how you're able to learn and assimilate. It can greatly, decrease the risk of inflammation. So an example is if you have arthritis, which is more of inflammation. If you have that, and then you are able to reduce the consumption of your saturated fat, foods that are high in saturated fat, foods that are high in trans fat. And these foods are, you have your meat, fatty meat, you have fried food. Fried foods are contain so much trans fat. And so all these foods can go ahead to cause inflammation. Also foods that are very high in refined sugar, yes. So I think talking about the sweetened beverages, so many fruit juices out there have so much sugar in them, and paying attention to all this would help you, and reducing such foods in your diet can really help you reduce the risk of inflammation. Yes. Another thing I would like to share with you, one way is that food can help improve your mind, protect your mind. We have my transmitter. What it does is that it helps to connect your feelings. Yeah, so it's often called the feel good hormone. And so this serotonin majorly is produced in your intestine, yes, in your gut. And so what it means is that the lining of your intestine, of your gut, contains what we know as nerves, and these nerves can help to produce the serotonin. But when you consume foods that do not help you improve your gut health, it can, or maybe foods that causes inflammation or lead to damage of the lining of your intestine, it can affect the production of the serotonin. Serotonin, like I mentioned, is a neurotransmitter, is the, what we say is the substance that is responsible for how good you feel. And once this is affected, what it means is once the food you eat affects your intestine, it affects the lining of your intestine, it affects the production of serotonin, which the production takes place, 95% of the serotonin in your body takes place in the intestine. And so if that is affected, it means this substance is greatly reduced in your body. Aside that, once the lining of the intestine is also affected, the absorption of the nutrient in your food is also affected. So there are certain foods that you can eat, and then I would go ahead to just share some of the foods that you can eat. Yes, you can either have mentioned a few that can cause harm to you. I've mentioned a few, but then before I really want to show you some of the meals that can really harm you. Yes, and you're seeing right on your screen the foods that are high in fat, the foods that are high in trans fat, they are high in refined sugar, refined carbs. All this can be very, very dangerous for you. They can increase your risk of inflammation. They can increase your risk of obesity, your risk of high blood pressure. Look at this food you're seeing. They are so rich in unhealthy fat, even sodium. Yes, sodium, which needs to be, the intake needs to be moderated because excessive intake can lead to high blood pressure. Also diabetes, because once you have obesity, you have excess fat in your body, it affects the way your body is able to use, the insulin is not being used effectively in your body, and then it can lead to what we know as insulin resistance, and then lead to diabetes. And these are diseases that you don't want to, they're costly diseases, they're things that can really affect you. And the complications, for example, of diabetes can be very, very dangerous. It can lead to kidney disease. It can lead to, loss of sight. It can lead to heart disease. It can lead to so many, it can even lead to the loss of a body part. And so you don't want to go all the way, to have this condition before you begin to think of how you would get to, improve your diet. And so I'm going to share, a few dietary tips on how you can get to protect your body and your mind with the foods that we have. These are foods that you even know they're locally available around us, but because you don't know the power they carry, and once you know what you can do with all this food, you realize that There's so much around you. The power food, you can really utilize the power the foods around us, have to ensure that you boost your health, you boost your body, and then you boost your mind. Number one is that you need to eat more fruits and vegetables. Yes, fruits and vegetables, your apples, your carrots, your watermelon, your pineapple, all those fruits are available around us. You need to ensure that you consume some of this item. You also need to ensure that you eat whole grain products. When we talk about whole grain products, I remember that I also explained what whole grains are yesterday. You need to ensure that whole grain products these are grains, for example, they are unprocessed grains. So let me put that, unprocessed grains. And so when I say unprocessed grains, possibly you might have grinded your wheat into flour, but then you should ensure that you don't sieve out the shaft. Once you sieve out the shaft, you're taking out what makes that grain whole. Same as your pap. Once you're making your pap, the moment you sieve out the shaft, then you're taking what makes it whole out of this. Quickly, we'll go on another break, and when we come back, I will share with you more tips, and then we're getting close to the end of today's program, and so let's hear another message from our sponsors. Welcome back to your $1 billion body show. Remember, we are here talking about foods for protecting your body and your mind, and that's a short message from our sponsor, Salad Master. I mentioned earlier, Salad Master is leading the movement back to healthy home cooking. They're inspiring people to eat well, live well, and go after the life they desire. So thank you, Salad Master, once again for that. And so I was sharing some dietary tips for with you, so that can help you protect your body and your mind. And I mentioned the first tip was eat more fruits and vegetables. Yes, you need to consume more fruits and vegetable. You also need to go for whole grains. I mentioned that before we went on the break. The next is that you need to use healthy fat. For example, olive oil is known as healthy fat, but whichever of the healthy fats you're using, please note that it has to still be used in minimal portion. Don't overdo it. Don't say because olive oil is healthy, then you pour so much into your diet. It has to still be in little amount, little proportion. Next is that you need to really reduce or avoid red meat. Yes, several studies have shown that red meat has been linked to conditions like cancer. And so if you even have to eat red meat once in a while, it has to be the lean meat. Yes, and let it be very, very limited in your diet. You can substitute fish, poultry without the skin. Yes, so if you're doing your chicken, you're deskinning, removing the skin of the chicken. Fish are good. Beans is also good. Beans is one of the healthy foods you can ever eat. But pay attention when you're preparing your beans. Do not add, don't add oil. So you find out that some people prepare their meals and then they're adding so much palm oil on the meat that you're making it so very unhealthy that way. So pay attention to that. Next is that we have so many spices and herbs. You have the turmeric, you have a ginger, you have a garlic, you have your thyme, you have so many of these. We have so many spices and herbs. And all the spices and herbs that you see contain, they contain so much antioxidants. I mentioned earlier that one of the functions of antioxidants is that it helps to prevents the damage to your cells that is caused by free radicals. And what they do is that they help you take those free radicals out of your body. And so consuming herbs and spices would really go a long way to prevent disease condition, protect your brain and also your mind. Like, it's going to help you. It's going to so much. One of the several studies that have been carried out is that once your brain is affected, once your brain health is affected, it can lead to depression. And so imagine being depressed, imagine having mood disorders, and knowing that there are certain foods that can help you or prevent you from getting to this stage. And then once they make your food very spicy, they make it taste tastier, and then they add so much flavor to your food. And what that means is that you get to use less salt. Yes, one of the the next tip there is that you need to reduce your salt intake. It's very, very important, because taking too much salt can lead to you having high blood pressure. Yes, and then stay hydrated. You need to stay hydrated. Drink plain water. Plain water has no calories, but then it does so much to you. It improves your concentration. It improves your mood. It also improves your overall health. And so take so much of all this. And what I've done is just to go ahead to share some of the superfoods that are great for your body. And then on your screen right now, you'll be seeing the red pepper, you will see the onions, you will see the tomatoes, the cabbage, the leafy vegetables, the spices and herbs. They're all colorful. You see all these colors that you're seeing, they bring so much antioxidants and what we call phytochemicals to your diet. And what it means is that they can help you fight disease, they can help you protect your body and also protect your mind. And so I have also gone ahead to share another, on your screen you will be seeing the nuts. You're seeing more of the superfoods that can help you protect. You have the berries. You see, we have the blueberries, you have the blackberries, you have the strawberry. All these colors, right? They had, more nutrition to your diet, more protection to you. And so adding so much of this would help you improve your health. You have right there the clove. Clove is one of the, the spices that is shown to be very, very rich in antioxidant and can help you, fight diseases. Imagine adding cloves to your meals or to your tea. You have the green tea, you have the potatoes, the cocoa, all this color. The beans, I put the beans there. Yes, the beans is also very, very great for you. And so on the next slide, you're seeing just a few more of the superfoods that are very, very great for you. You have this, avocado. Avocados are very good for you. You have the corn. See the colors. The more colorful your foods, the more colorful your meals are, the healthier they are. And so all those colors, like I said, bring so much powerful nutrition to your diet and help you to improve your health. And then you have the oily food there. I haven't even stopped there. I went ahead to share with you some salad ideas to just help you understand that these things are possible. Imagine what you can see on your screen right now. You have the vegetable salad. If you choose to do just vegetables, you have the green pea in that, and then the carrot on that, where you have the mixed vegetable salad. Imagine having that with your rice, or with your pasta. Imagine how interesting that would be. You also have the fruits salad, the mixed fruit salad, where you have the berries, the orange, the pineapple, all mixed. You don't have to do one. The more colorful, the merrier, the healthier, right? And then if you want to do fruit alone, or you don't want to do vegetables alone, imagine doing the fruits and vegetable salad, where you have the leaves, you have the carrots, you have all those berries, the watermelon, the pineapple, pawpaw, all mixed together in ways that are creative, and then they bring nutrition to your health. And so lastly, I remember yesterday I shared a sample menu, and today I've also gone ahead to share another sample healthy menu with you. You know what? You have to, healthy eating is not, a lot of people think healthy eating is very, very difficult, but just realize that once you understand how you can put your meals together, simple meals, but then they bring powerful nutrition to your body and to your mind. So imagine what you have on your screen right there. For your breakfast, you have whole maize pap with stewed beans. Yes, whole maize pap with stewed beans. Remember, I mentioned that we need to eat a lot of whole grain, and so making your pap without sieving the shaft out makes that pap all great. And so you have it with stewed beans, and your beans is garnished with spinach. You have the vegetable in your beans. Imagine how interesting and delicious that is. And then I went ahead for you to your lunch. If you love swallow, you would love the lunch. If you love swallow, like people who love amala would love this. And if it's not amala, if it's wheat, fufu, or any other swallow food that you like, imagine doing that with your okra and bitter leaf soup. And then your soup has, seasoned mackerel in it. Imagine how interesting. Like, I'm hungry right now, and I feel I can see, one of this meal. And then I moved ahead to dinner to show you how you can get to eat sweet potatoes and mushroom pepper soup. Have you ever tasted mushroom pepper soup? I'm sure if you check one of the videos on HLN, on Healthy Living Show, you will see the part where our Chef Jessica had gone ahead to show you how you can make mushroom, plant-based pepper soup. And then she has, great recipes that you can check, on our pages. And then you find some of these great recipes on how you can prepare your meals, without using oil, preserving all the nutrients that you have in there. And I just went ahead to share the snacks. You can do apple, you can do cucumber and pineapple smoothie, topped with coconut flakes. Imagine having all this nutrition. Yes, imagine having all these. Very simple. These food are available around us. They are very, very available, and then they are cheap. So, dear viewers, I hope that I have shared so much with you today, and I'm very happy that you, stay tuned to listen to this and also to learn, more nutrition information on how you can use food to protect your body and mind. This is where we're going to draw the curtain on today's show, and when we come back on the next show, we would be bringing you more interesting topics, and then, you're going to learn more. And if you have any topic that you want us to, if you have any topic that you want us to, talk about, maybe you want to learn how to use food to prevent a certain disease, or, learn more about something in general, it has to do with your health, or it has to do with your nutrition. Remember, we have Dr. Dolly on the show, and I still remain your dietitian. And so share with us, leave your comment in the comment box. We would read those comments and also get back to you. And so before we round up, we would round up right now with another message from our sponsors. Thank you so much for joining us on today's show, and see you next on the next show. But wait and see our message from our sponsors. Thank you so much, and see you next time.